Good morning, Metaverse. I'm Thor with the Red Hand, and this video is going to be about the FTX fraud and how it's affecting Star Atlas and the Star Atlas community. Now it's 2 a.m. where I'm from, and I could not sleep. I've tried to stay up to date with everything that's going on in Discord and other medias, and I felt like I had to make this video as much as therapy for myself as an important thing to reach out to the community that I feel so strongly about. Now, I'm going to measure my words and my language as best I can. I want to think critically, be realistic, but also respectful and have understanding. It's very easy in situations like this where horrible things have been done, money has been lost, to overreact or to be hypercritical. There's also the pitfall of disbelief and denial. So I'm going to try to walk that line and go through, from my perspective and everything that I've heard so far, where Star Atlas is, look at the facts that we have available to us, and give some of my thoughts on what we can and should do from here. Now, if you've been asleep for the last week or you have some repressed memories and just can't figure out what's going on, we're going to start at the root of the problem. Right here is FTX. FTX is a centralized exchange. And over the last week, it ran into some massive liquidity issues. There was a sort of a token battle between the two major exchanges, FTX and Binance, and it ended up crashing the value of FTX and further causing more liquidity issues. FTX has since gone into Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And as time goes on, the story gets crazier because this guy, oop, wrong guy. This guy, Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO of FTX and Alameda Research and a few other companies, built a backdoor in his program that allowed him to move billions of dollars without triggering any alarms or notifying any of the other employees in the companies. As a result, or speculatively as a result, there has been a hack to FTX and I believe Alameda Research as well. And hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars have been drained, which is by itself absolutely crazy. Really, this stuff is really happening. Okay, so how does that affect us? Well, that means all those funds on FTX, that's absolutely gone, and there's not going to be a chance of getting it back. Well, that sucks. How does that affect us? Well, FTX was a trusted partner of Star Atlas, and Star Atlas actually launched its tokens on the FTX exchange. Also, Star Atlas used FTX exchange as an off ramp for their cryptocurrency into USD in order to make payroll, et cetera, et cetera. So the question is, what's the exposure? Turns out that the exposure comes out to around $15 million. This was liquid funds on FTX for various things, which Michael Wagner gave some description on, and there has been a lot more conversations that have brought details to light. But that represents roughly half, maybe a little bit more than half of what Star Atlas had in regards to a runway for project development, which, as we found out in the town hall, reduces Star Atlas's current funds to around 6 to 9 months at current expense rates. Ugh. Now, this is where critical thinking needs to engage and motion needs to take the back seat. Let's think about this. I am going to say that I'm extremely disappointed, and I can only imagine that the rest of the community, the development team included, is also extremely disappointed. I'm not laying blame solely at Automata's feet, and I'm not going to be pointing fingers at anybody, no individuals. But let's take that critical look at what happened and what needs to change. First, why were the funds on the exchange to begin with? Let's take a look at what Michael Wagner stated in the announcement released just before the town hall. He states FTX was utilized for cash transfers to our bank to manage operating expenses and generate low risk yield on short term treasury notes. Now, I understand needing to use an off ramp, and FTX would have been, in my opinion, as of 2 weeks ago, a good choice for doing that type of transfer. Low risk yield on short term treasury assets. Now, my personal opinion, even 2 weeks ago, would have been that low risk does not include on a centralized exchange. Now, I'm not going to go off on a centralized exchange rant. However, my opinion is that centralized exchanges are always high risk because if you don't own your keys, you don't own your crypto. With that said, Automata was not the only organization that saw FTX as a trustworthy organization to put large sums of money on. So there's that. And I am not deeply involved in their books, so I have no idea how reasonable the 15 million was to be on an exchange or to be in a low risk treasury asset. So that I'm going to trust that they have managed their money in a responsible way other than the exchange aspect. They have not given me any reason to think that they are incompetent in that. And this is a horribly misfortunate scenario. Now, it's this second part that I am interested in. Poor timing and a failure to have sufficient backup measures in place to respond expeditiously to situations such as this resulted in a compromised position. Now, Michael Wagner says this is on me, and for that I am sorry. Okay. Now, taking responsibility for this, I am going to give credit for that. And I have no doubt that he is extremely sorry for this. The poor timing and failure to have sufficient backup measures. The question I need answered personally to move on from this point is what is Automata doing, or what are they going to change in their protocols in order to prevent situations such as this from resulting again? Now, this is not a question that should be answered in a day. It's something that should be thought through thoroughly to figure out what best practices are from this point forward. Automata doesn't have to tell the community all the details of their protocols, but the community is extremely important to this project, and they know that. And faith has been lost. And I deeply feel that Automata needs to re earn the faith of the community. This would be, for myself, the first big step to do so. From there, if we can solve that problem, then I'm comfortable putting my full effort into solving these challenges that are coming. They've always been here, but now they are very present in mind and much closer in time. So, what are the challenges that face Star Atlas in the near future, as well as how does the roadmap change in the long run? We do know that at current expense rates, we have 6 to 9 months of runway with current liquid capital. So, addressing expenses and making sure that things are being run efficiently and making cuts where possible will extend that runway. In the town hall, Michael Wagner did reference that maintaining the personnel that they have worked very hard to get is a high priority, if not top priority. However, the payment structure and salaries may be reduced or switched to higher portions of equity in order to reduce those costs, those expenses, in order to expand that runway. I see that as sound reasoning and a good place to start. There's also been a lot of discussion on Discord in regards to reducing the scope of development down to the most important parts, be it finishing the development of Sage and getting that web browser game fully up and with an economy so that income can be generated from activity on that ecosystem. Um, and I don't, my personal opinion is I don't think anything in the next 3 months as far as development should be changed if Automata restructures the way that compensation is done and cuts out any other unnecessary expenses, that is going to extend the runway from the 6 to 9 months. Hopefully, it gets closer to a year. And if we look at it from that perspective, we are not in a emergency fire sale situation. Okay. We're actually still in a strong position to make smart moves. We need to tighten the belt. We need to be very careful about what we do from here on. But the pipelines that have been set up, the high quality personnel that they've worked very hard to acquire, those are achievements that should not be thrown away offhand. Okay. And so we don't want to overreact and do anything rash. We want to make smart decisions. So there's no major need in the near future, in my opinion, to shift that roadmap of development. Get those things done in the time frame that was planned. Work your butts off to get it done because we do need wins early on. But that gives a time to search out for other capital, which brings me to my next point, which is venture capital. That is not the desired route that the Star Atlas community nor the development team has ever wanted to take, but that is something to consider because if we get down to the expenses within a few months and there is a venture capital offer on the table, it will need to be considered. And you know, at that point, there is going to be a lot of conflict in opinions from community, from the development team, and what it's going to take to progress the project. And that is where scaling back might become a more prominent conversation. We need to think about it, and we need to currently think about venture capital. But ideally, community-based solutions is what would be best, in my opinion, and in the opinion of everybody else I've talked to in the community. Um, and so there's actually already some stuff that's being done on Discord. Bodhi Tree, I believe, actually set up the Discord channel for the Star Atlas Community Fund. And we've already had a ton of people come in and take a survey as to what they are willing to consider. Purchasing Polis, Atlas, over the counter, purchasing assets, limited NFTs, that type of thing. So if participating in building funds from the community in that fashion is appealing to you, I will leave a link in the description below to that Discord to have conversations about that. The purpose of this Discord is, as I understand it, is to discuss how to raise funds within the community. So everyone that is here already agrees or at least is open to the idea of using some of their funds or putting more of their funds into the project. Now, there is another strong sentiment that people in the community don't want to put more of their funds into the project. They've already put in a lot and they don't want to put in more. That's fine. I totally respect that. This would not be the Discord conversation for you to join in. This is not a debate whether it's a good idea. This is for the people that already want to go down that road, and discuss different options and effective ways that it could happen. Nothing is definite right now. This is just a brainstorm, coming up with good ideas and progressing down that. So again, I'll leave a description or a link in the description below if you'd like to join that Discord. And I am keeping my eye open for other community-based uh, projects that are geared towards that. Other good places to have these conversations about what we can do to help Star Atlas continue on is in the Star Atlas Discord, general governance and economics. I've had several good conversations with people in that regards. Now, that covers most of the points that I felt were really important in regards to problem solving and coming together as a community and all that rah great stuff. I do also want to address the more negative feelings that have come out as a result of this. And I completely understand people who are frustrated and mad, straight up pissed off, because this whole scenario sucks. I know I personally would like to put Sammy Banks in an escape pod and launch him into the high risk zone and use him as target practice. What? Taking my anger out on descendants of assholes is wrong. Of course, I'm Viking, so I might do it anyway. With that said, I'm clearly not a relationship advisor. However, I'm going to give some community relationship advice, both to community members, to mods, and development team members. This situation has everybody high emotion. You can only expect that there will be people that lash out. Comments are going to be made that in normal times would be unacceptable, but with current events are justified. I advocate for understanding and leniency on both sides. Now, if people in the community feel like they have had enough and they're done, they're out, that's fine. Totally get it. I respect you and support that decision. However, for the community and the health of the community, I think anybody that's having a hard time right now and needs to take a break, we need to completely understand that and welcome them back if and when they do want to be a part of the community again. This is an amazing group of very intelligent people, very driven people, and this community is Star Atlas's biggest asset. These challenges can be solved. I encourage further discussion to find the best way forward. I am not a financial advisor, and I'm not telling anybody what to do, but I know what I'm going to do. Once I know that Automata has made appropriate action to bring their protocols up to best practice standards, I will be putting as much effort as I can into continually building this community, solving the longer term development challenges, and help build Star Atlas into the metaverse that we all know it can and will be. I love the support that the community has put forward. My heart goes out to all those that have been negatively affected. If ever you need to talk to somebody, the Red Hand and myself are always here. You can find us on our Discord and also in the Star Atlas Discord. We can stop by the Bounty Bar and have a mug of mead. We have a fantastic community, and I am absolutely willing to fight for that. So don't worry about liking or subscribing, but if you know somebody that would find this video helpful, then go ahead and share it with them. You could do that. And today was a good day. Good morning, Metaverse.